Yeah, you know what time it is. That's right, it's time for Rivals Assemble, a Marvel Rivals podcast. I am your host, Mark Turcott, and you are tuned into episode 16. And well, we are right on the brink of season 1.5 coming out. And here tonight, we have hands-on impressions of early access to season 1.5. We got some impressions on The Thing. We got some impressions on Johnny Storm. We got some impressions on Central Park. We got it all for you here. And to break it all down with me here, first up, Neil. Neil, what's up, dude?
Rivals Assemble! We're here.
Yeah.
Look at these hands have experience with the 1.5 season.
That's right,
Here
man.
to tell you about it.
Have you been smashing the ground, smashing pillars as the thing?
Saw it. You saw it.
Oh, I did see it.
I
felt it.
I sniped you out of the sky. The first game we played. You're being nice, trying to show me around, and it's clobbering time, so.
It definitely was.
Sorry about that again.
Yeah, it's fine. It was clobbering time. It's fine, man. The Thing is awesome, and we're gonna get to that here in just a little bit. And also joining us, Ken's, what's up, dude?
Yeah, this patch is hot. It's great. Ready to talk about it.
Yeah. So again, Matt will not be here with us this week. He did update us. Next week will be his last week of not being here for a while. So the prior engagement that he had will keep him away one more week after tonight. But after that, he should be back here with the crew as we move forward here into season 1.5. We are actually recording this a day early this week. And again, we're doing that because just having early access, we want to get this out on Thursday right before the patch comes out so you guys can just hear all our impressions and get the hype train rolling for the new heroes, the new map, all kind of the changes coming to the heroes. So big what's up to everybody over on the streams, over on YouTube and on Twitch who are joining us here live at Rivals Assemble Pod on both of those platforms. So what's up, guys, over there? Thank you here for being here live. And if you can't be here live, you can check the VODs on both of those sites. I think on YouTube, make sure you click the live section. I think if you go over there, you can see it. Of course, you can always follow us on Twitter at Rivals Assemble or on Blue Sky also. And also, you can always send us an email to rivalsassemblepod@gmail.com. And big what's up to all our new Discord members. So we started our Discord last week. I think we're almost to, are we at 50 people already in the Discord?
It's either that or over it at this point. It's pretty close.
Just gave me
popping this week.
Yeah, it gave me a warning. They're like, you're about to more than 40 people. Are you really? Do you really want to do this? I'm like, whoa.
Anxiety.
Let me think about this.
Oh, they're listening. But yeah, so if you want to join us, join some other like-minded people in this game, go join our Discord. You can find the link in the show notes to the podcast, however you're listening to it. And I will say, I know there has been some issue. It almost seems like it was people on Apple Podcasts have been having some issues joining it. If you are having an issue, either send us an email, or your best bet is just kind of copy the link and just post it in your browser if the link itself isn't working, because a lot of people were getting in, but we had a handful that just for whatever reason weren't able to do that. And of course, if you're listening to the audio version of the show, whether it's on iTunes or on Spotify, thank you for that. Be sure to leave us a review. And if you're on Spotify, of course, leave us a comment over on Spotify. And make sure you answer our poll, which we're going to get to here in a second. But
we're approaching 50, almost 50s of comments.
50s.
We've gone from 5s to 10s. We're approaching 50s.
Deuce 50s, right?
40s
It's kind of what we're
50s.
we're getting there.
Yeah.
Big announcement, though, for next week. We have a guest, guys. Our first guest coming on the podcast. Joining us next week, Conrad Gunther, who you may have heard if you listen to other Rivals podcasts. He's host of the Marvel Rivals Review podcast. Is going to be joining us next week, so pretty stoked to get him on the show. I know those guys have actually been doing their podcast a little bit longer than us. I think they started running, a month or so before us. So pretty cool to get him on and kind of get his thoughts on the game. And of course,
it'll be multiverse of podcasts here.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
They're converging.
The chronoverses of the podcast. So,
hey, that's what I should have said.
Us podcast people need to stick together, right, man? That's what we got to do. So we're getting Conrad on, get his thoughts. He seems like he's a really cool dude, so I can't wait to talk to him next week and get all his thoughts on everything season 1.5. But let's get back to our poll, guys, over from Spotify. So we asked you last week, what is the best convoy map in the game? Now, there was some confusion. I think we had one or two people actually message us about convoy versus convergence. So the convoy map is a straight-up payload map. So this is where the whole map, you just have the payload right from the start, and you're pushing, where the convergence is think like Clintar, where you have to capture the point and then push the payload. So we're not talking those maps. We're talking convoy. And we had Midtown, Spider Islands, and the Yggdrasil Path and we had over 112 votes. And again, we're getting this early. So as of right now, as this recording, technically there's, I think, like 24 hours left for this thing to finish. But we're just going to go with the results here. So with 42% of the vote, 47 votes, Spider Islands getting the win. And I'm not going to say it wasn't close. I mean, the other two actually were close between Midtown and Yggdrasil. Midtown had 32, Yggdrasil had 33. But Spider Islands, what do you guys think of the results in this? Is this the number one convoy map in the game?
I'm
I
very
don't know.
excited.
Go ahead, Neil.
We're not excited, but surprised that Midtown, the new
That's what I was gonna
shiny,
say. Yeah.
did not win. I voted for Midtown.
I
Me
did
too.
too.
I just
Yeah.
I love the art and everything, but it's the new shiny, so that's what took my attention.
Yeah. I mean, Spider Islands, I do like that map. Like, it
It's
is a good
good.
map. I kind of like how you start and you kind of, it's almost has that immediate turn. You got to go down. You got the little tower there. I like hiding up on the tower when you're on defense and like dropping down, like punching the bell that's up there whenever I'm.
Oh, I haven't tried that.
Oh, yeah, dude. That bell comes crashing down too. It's great.
Yeah. No, that's a good map.
But,
It is a good map.
yeah, and then I like
And you
the,
get to talk with Spider Zero.
Yep.
When you're leaving
Yeah.
the base
Yeah.
there.
and I always like
stuff.
the fight at the end, kind of like the last zone where you kind of go inside and you kind of got to go up and turn. And then if you're on defense, you can pop out that little like door that's kind of up at the
Yeah.
top.
It's like a sanctum looking thing, like
So,
a
but-
sanctum door, like a portal.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a great map.
I'm kind
That
of with
map
you.
it's just a good map. Like it's designed well. You know, it's just
Feels
good.
big.
I don't think there's as many cool things to look at on that map as some of the other ones, but in terms of like functionality of a map, yeah, I can see why. See why it wins.
There's a lot of different environments, right? You're going down the small streets, and then you go through some big gates. I remember when the game first was announced, and they're going through all the environment destruction effects. There was a map where when you destroy buildings, it gets to get sucked up. Is that this map?
That's
What
the
map is
dude.
that?
That's the like
Conquest.
like
the
the deathmatch
Conquest
one.
map.
Yeah.
Oh,
so it's not.
okay,
It's none of these maps. No, it's a Conquest map, which is it's a Tokyo 2099 map,
Mhm.
Yeah.
but it's not.
it's a conquest. Got it.
Yeah.
Or the
It's Conquest.
It's
I think
Conquest.
it's what it's called. Doom
Yes.
Match is the Sanctum. Conquest is the Tokyo 2099.
yes.
So,
Got it.
but yeah, I'm surprised Midtown, man, because that being the
Mhm.
newest, latest, and I know the art on that map is just freaking great. The big smashed Iron Man robot and all that there, but you know, in terms of
Yeah.
the gameplay, you know, I don't know. And you know, I honestly like Yggdrasil Path. I think that map, we've all played that map so much.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
of, I mean, for us, we were in the alpha, then the beta, and then
I remember in the alpha
Hey,
though
Matt.
playing that thing and hearing those screaming goats. I could not stop laughing every time I heard those goats.
I don't know about
Yes.
the goats.
And now I don't even know if I think they turned it down or did they turn it off?
I think they're still there. It's just,
Have I gotten used to it? It was absurd.
It
in the
was in
beginning.
the
Like,
alpha.
it was like
it really was.
they were so loud.
I don't know what you're talking
Screaming.
about. I'll have to look it up.
You have to pay attention next time.
Well,
Is it
you
just in the
saw, did you
background
see
music?
Marvel Studios Thor Love and Thunder?
No.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, you haven't
Yeah.
seen that? Oh, dude, you got to watch that because that's where like the goats are in that.
That's
And-
why they're screaming.
That's why they're screaming. And so it's
Sweet.
like, yeah, they just kind of put that in there, which is hilarious. But all right, so that is that for that
Convoy.
poll. We are now moving on to what is the best convergence map. So, Symbiotic Surface Clintar, Shinshibuya, which I think wins for the best name ever, Tokyo 2099, and then the Hall of Jalia, the Intergalactic Empire of Wakanda. So, Symbiotic Surface, Shinshibuya, Hall of Jalia. Let us know. We'll put that poll
They're all
up.
so good.
Head over
They're
to what's so good?
Just all the maps, like they're
know,
all
dude.
great.
I know.
The
Question.
the control ones I have, I'm like, but whatever. But all of
Yeah.
these are just great.
love Clintar.
The new map coming tomorrow or the day after, that's going to be a
Convergence.
one of these.
Yes.
So leave it out because that would be unfair advantage because it's pretty awesome.
There's no way
Right.
it wouldn't win.
We're gonna talk
thing
about the
ever.
new map here in a bit, but yes, so that is a
Leave that
convergence map. But yeah, let us know. Head over to Spotify. You can see the poll over there, and let us know what is the best convergence map in the game. Now, quick little heads up. I forgot to mention this here at the top of the show. No dump this week. No lore dump. Matt was kind of compiling it, and because we're recording it early, it's looking like the Wolverine dump is going to be a massive dump. So
Huge.
a little
We're gonna be
backed up.
backed up quite a bit for next week.
Yes.
So
So
you know
we
what
will.
happens then.
Yeah, look for that next week on the podcast. Just again, because we got lots to talk about, patch notes, all that stuff here on the show. So let's talk about our week in game, because I think that's something that we still should carry with here on this episode. And I just want to start it off with the health pack in the room, and that is, if you caught last week's episode. At the end of the episode, we had a question of somebody asking about the progression in the battle pass, and they asked, like, do you like having to do missions? And so I said, I do not like doing the health pack mission. I hate it. And so I always refresh it. And then Matt's face like dropped and it turned into this whole discussion. And so I just became defiant about how I hate health packs. But I need to clarify, because I had multiple messages this week and many people explaining the purpose of health packs. Yes, I use health packs in the game. I hate the mission that forces me to chase down the health packs. So that's really what, and of course I took it to the extreme, joking last week about that. But it's really the idea of having to chase them down, because that's the thing. Like when I do the missions in the morning, I always go in. I want to do the quickest that I can to knock them out, and I feel that one forces me to go out of my way at times, like just through my natural gameplay. I'm not always getting health packs, because it
depends on who you're playing.
Exactly.
Because there are most, if you're not playing support, I think that there are most situations where, health packs are probably necessary, but, it kind of ebbs and flows with.
So that was my week in the game, was having to deal with the health pack debacle. Whatever you want to call it.
It's good for you.
Yeah. It was great. I loved it. This was amazing. Thank you all for clarifying health packs. And I will say, when I watched the Dev Vision this week, I was hoping Guan Guan was going to address the health packs, but he didn't. So
no,
there's nothing to address. Just go pick them up.
There's nothing to address.
Just go pick them up.
Anyways, how was your weekend game? Neil, you did something interesting, I think, with your daughter, right? In game?
Oh, yes. So we talked about this with last episode, the episode before. Actually today I tried the bedtime story patch notes. We got through most of the vanguards, and that was about it. It would last about four minutes or so. She says, Daddy, I don't like this story. And I said,
she's a duelist.
I said, Nora, is it because of all the nerfs? And she said, yeah, sure, whatever. Let's read something else. So
that's awesome.
She doesn't understand that sometimes you get buffs, sometimes you get nerfs. So we're working through that, and we'll see how that goes. But in the game itself, pretty good week. We had some great games after the show last week with a couple of listeners. I really enjoyed that. We got the six-man team going, which is a lot of fun. That I've only done that a handful of times, and may have been carried a little bit there, but I think we all did our part. So I enjoyed that. I also focused on doing those missions. So I was playing some characters that I don't normally play. I think I'm starting to figure out Iron Fist a little bit. I had one of those like KO streaks with them. Still haven't done it versus real players yet. I'm still in the versus AI stage with him, but thought that was fun. Worked on some of the ranged duelists, Hela and Hawkeye as well. Had a great game with Hawkeye actually in a quick play match the other night. So I might dive into him a little more. Outside of that, I was pushing comp a little bit. I'm not sure I'm going to make gold this week, but I did make silver last night, and most of it's been as a Vanguard. A lot of Magneto, which I'm getting more and more comfortable with. And Penny Parker must be my best for the defense maps whenever we're stopping. I think she's the only one I have as captain, which is the second proficiency level. And I've also been enjoying Hulk a lot, just jumping in whenever we have like a second tank or a Strange / Magneto, someone to cling to, and I can go off and do my own thing. I've had a lot of fun with Hulk this week. It may have been something to do with watching that movie as well, but I've been doing well.
What about you, Kens?
Yeah, it was a good week. I mainly only played competitive and got into a shinier tier this week. That's so I made it to gold.
Yeah,
And
congrats.
yeah, and I didn't think I had that in me, but it's like, I know there's some people listening to this. I'm like, oh yeah, gold, whatever. But like, that's a big deal to me. Like, I'm really, really, really proud of that.
great.
The bronze and silver tier is a rough slog. And I know that like if all you got to do is just put in the time, but a lot of times I don't have the time. I think this season I've put in 18 hours, I think, total. And so, but I just have yo-yoed my way through silver, starting at the bottom of bronze, made it to silver pretty easily. And then it was like just up and down constantly, just the worst. And then made it in finally into silver one, and had a couple of good games. And the last game that I had, was an overtime game, and it was like my adrenaline was pumping so much. It was on the Yggdrasil map, and we had pushed all the way to the end, but we only had like a minute and a half left, and then the opposing team pushed all the way to the end as well, so we went to overtime, and then we ended up with time expired, so in overtime, so if anyone gets off the payload, it's over. We made it past the first point, and then pushed it a little bit around the corner, and then they got us off. And so I was like, man, like the team was okay. Like we weren't like, no one was doing like outstanding. We were just like barely hanging on. But the other team, whenever they won, they steamrolled us, like had like 3.5 minutes left. And we held that first point in the overtime for that entire time. And
Nice.
it was like, there was like 30 seconds left, and they were about to cap that first point, and we had a strange that opened a portal. Everybody jumped through, popped ultimates, pushed them off, and then we won. So
Nice.
what a way to get into gold.
It's funny, dude.
But
like you think like Overwatch, like competitive can be very intense, definitely. But there's I don't know what it is about this game. Like the competitive to me almost seems like it's just a little bit more. I don't know. It just gets
sweaty.
That adrenaline going,
Yeah.
because there's like so
It's
many
sweaty.
different things that can happen in the matches. It's,
all at once.
It's great.
And then played 2 more games, and now I'm back into silver.
Damn
Doesn't
it.
matter.
But I made it to gold. I played 10 games. Play my 10 games after this this update, and then I'll get both the skins. So happy about that.
Yeah, just to really talk about what I really did do. So I played a little bit of comp this week too, and got 1 win away from silver 1, I guess, and then it was just all the way back down. And I even posted in the Discord. What was the one match I showed? It was like, I think I ended up, and I was going in just kind of playing whatever we needed, and generally it was either then Vanguard or Strategist. And it was like one match, I ended up playing Strategist. I healed more than double what my other team, the teammate that was a Strategist, did, and more than both the other team combined. And it's like, and we still lost. And I'm like, that's just where it just gets frustrating at times in comp in these lower levels. Is it's like, you just get teamed up with people, and there's like, I just feel like there's nothing that I can do. So I had a frustrating week. So I don't think I'm gonna hit gold by Friday, just because
Tomorrow night.
yeah, we're kind of playing the new the newness right now, being in on that, which is fine.
You don't have to.
Yeah, that's
You
the
don't
thing.
have
I don't
to.
have to, right? It's fine.
You got more time. With that game, Mark, I remember looking at that scorecard, and your team's like KDA wasn't bad either. Like you were getting a lot of eliminations. It's just, I guess, at the wrong time.
Just happens,
right?
man. Just happens. Yep.
Gotta, I don't know, get the.
It is what it is. It's how it works.
At the point and line up those alts and.
All right. Well, enough about that. Let's talk about the newness here, boys. Let's move on to this new stuff to talk about in our news segment that we call the Not So Daily Bugle News.
J. Jonah Jameson here.
All right. Well, my friends, like we said here at the top of the show, we did get hands-on early access to Season 1.5, and we are here to talk to you guys about it all. And let's kick it off first with the heroes. So the first hero, let's talk about Mr. Johnny Storm, the Human Torch. So they did reveal, number one, just he looks awesome. I think just in motion, his the art that he did for this character is just fantastic. He is, of course, a duelist. He's a 3-star duelist, I believe. I will say my first impression of playing him, I was a little, I don't know, I think I was playing him too high up, I think is kind of what I ended up figuring out because I realized, like, especially Storm. Like Storm, a lot of times I notice when I move closer to the ground, I actually do better. And, you know, popping up every once in a while, you know, when needed, especially to get around like certain, you know, just parts of the map or whatever. But once you start learning his kit and feeling him out, he is awesome. So before we get into his actual abilities, what do you guys think? Just kind of first impressions of Johnny Storm.
I think he's great. I was all about him. I played him a lot more than I've played Thing. And just because I think he's just a lot of fun. And you know, you're talking about how like you want to be closer up, but he's actually kind of got like this burst the further away that you are. So it's like the closer up you are, the more confined the shot his fire blast is, but the further away you are, you know, it spreads a little bit, kind of like a shotgun. But that's just like from not necessarily higher up, just like further away. But yeah, he's just got a lot of really cool combos that you can do. Which is probably why he's a 3-star, but he's a lot of fun.
What do you think, Neil?
Yeah, I enjoy the flying types, and especially when they're on fire. So I just played with him a little bit today, and I like the setup. From what I understand, with the flame walls, reminds me of playing some Diablo, which I enjoy as well. Wall of fire, right? It's always a good time making them walk through it. What also Destiny 2 with my Guardian, I'm the tank character. I don't know, what are they?
Titans
with my Titan and my solar grenades. Yeah, brought me back to that as well. So
that's a good analogy. That's awesome.
I'll be checking them out.
So they said here, just a little description of kind of what they have in the game for me. He says, Johnny Storm is a Fantastic Four's resident hothead heartthrob, always managing to look cool while turning up the heat. Johnny joined his sister on a wild experimental space mission in the hopes of visiting the stars. Instead, he became the brightest star of them all with the power to ignite his body as the Human Torch. They say the Human Torch adds an intense flair to every battle with scorching flames. When he's not busy burning Dracula's legions with flames brighter than the sun itself, he's soaring across the city to gather Chronovium and scavenge for parts of the time stream reintegration device. So let's go through some of these abilities. As we mentioned, he is a duelist. He's a flying duelist too, so he doesn't land on the ground. Think like Iron Man, think Storm. He does have the range, and like Ken said, the further you get, he starts kind of doing this like burst that he can do. But kind of the main abilities you're going to be using, of course, are his regular just basic attack. But then he also has these... what are they called? The Blazing Burst, I think it's called. And you put down these flame shields, I think is that what they call them, or flame fields.
Flame fields, the Pyro Prison is the ability.
Yeah, so you put down these little flame fields by putting down the Blaze Blasts, and you can put down up to 4 of them. And then when you hit the Pyro Prison button, it creates like a field, or it's not necessarily a wall. To me, it reminds me of like a tripwire.
Yeah.
But anybody that's connected within it starts burning immediately and taking hit. Or if you just put down one of these flame fields, it also just is a smaller little AoE that'll do some damage. So think like when you've seen pictures of Johnny Storm creating like the 4 out of flames, you can pretty much do that if you want. Mm-hmm. But what I was finding was like on a payload, you can put that down. You can put it down on even a control point, just create like a little square, a little triangle, pop it down. And then the other cool thing he can do is he slams the ground. So you're able to quickly go down on the ground and smash the ground to pop up the enemies. But also, if you have those flame fields down, those burst as well. So you're doing more damage. So you can put a couple of those down, slam down on the ground. You're popping them up, smashing them, which is doing damage in itself. Plus, then you're also exploding those flame fields. And it's just great. He also has the ability to basically, he's already flamed on, but you can flame on a little bit more with what they call Plasma Body. And you enter this accelerated ascent state, so you can kind of move a little bit faster. And I think does his attack speed boost up a little bit? It doesn't say that, but it almost feels like he may just a little bit.
It does in the ultimate, but I didn't know it might. I didn't notice it.
Okay.
Just because I'm usually flying. I'm not shooting.
True. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
similar to a sprint, like Captain America sprint kind of thing.
Yeah, it's still not that fast. So that was the one complaint I would say is he does move a little bit slow. He's a little bit faster than Storm, but it just seems like Iron Man definitely you can fly a lot faster than you could with Human Torch, which I think, if in my opinion, I think they should have the same speed. But They don't. But his ultimate's called Supernova, so he kind of goes into this just ridiculous flame state again. You're always in your plasma body, and then if you use your Blazing Blast, it creates these basically like large flame tornadoes on the ground. I think you can have up to 4 of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then his team up, the Omega Fire, is if someone is Storm's ultimate can consume one of those, and it basically creates a giant flame tornado.
So
and
cool.
yeah, it's awesome.
We've had alt synergies before, but not exactly as a team up ability, right? I think
Right.
this is the first time that this is happening, where you have the Groot alts to bring everyone together, and then say your Moon Knight alt or something like that as like a combo. But this is like, all right, I'm gonna throw down some firestorms. Go ahead, and
Yeah, it literally changes the ultimate.
yeah,
Totally.
it's awesome.
Yep. Now they also, all the Fantastic Four has the shield with
Right.
Invisible Woman as well.
She's
So
fun, yeah.
if Sue is on your team, you get that, you pop that, you can put the little extra shield on. Thing has the same thing as well. But yeah, overall, man, I think Human Torch, my first game with him, I was like, ooh, I don't think I'm really going to like him. But the more I played him, he just feels great. And dropping those flame fields down is just awesome. Because you find like if there's a small doorway, or like the Convergence map, the Tokyo 2099 one, Shin Shibuya, like that one, if you can get that first control point, and then the door they always come out of, it's usually off to the right, that little doorway or alleyway, or to the left through the window, you can drop the flame fields down and just put a little triangle down, and then they can walk through it and just burn themselves, which is great. I also had another, on the Central Park map, there's a couple spots where you can fall off the map. And I had a time where I smashed on the ground and knocked, I think it was a Psylocke maybe. I think I hit her and she flew off the map because she was right on the edge. And when I smashed down, it knocked her off. So
Yeah, it has a pretty good knockback whenever you use that
Okay.
that slam ability.
Nice.
did you find yourself, Ken's, using the like plasma at all, where you actually like boost yourself? Because I
All
found
the
myself, well, all the time.
Yeah.
Really?
Like,
Okay.
pretty much anytime I was on cooldown, I was pressing it.
Okay.
Because he is so slow.
Yeah.
He is slow, and so it's like, especially using that to get out, because I would do the combo where you set up the flame fields and then you chain them together to create the trap, and then dive in, and then as soon as you dive in, you're vulnerable.
Right,
You're like,
yeah.
Right.
because you might get some kills, if you've gotten them down enough, but it's going to knock them back, and you're going to do a big amount of damage. But then you got to get out of there because he's only got 200 health, I
Yeah,
think.
he's weak.
Yeah. And so that's kind of the combo of set up the flame fields, connect them, dive in, and then plasma body out of there to get him from a distance. So
I think that's the thing. Like, I still don't have the muscle memory for the plasma body. Like, I would just kind of forget about it. Or if there was a situation where I needed to move quickly, then that's when I would hit it. Like, if I was, say, being shot from the ground by like a Hawkeye or a Punisher, like, because unfortunately in the early builds, it's kind of hard to matchmake because there's not a ton of us playing. So a lot of it was playing AI matches. And every single match I played, there was a Punisher, and that Punisher was just locked onto me every single time. And so, like, they were able to do a lot of damage to me too. So that's when I would be like, oh, that's right, I can quickly try to get out of the way fast.
So he's a team up anchor, right? With that Omega Fire. Do you know what his passive bonus is? It's a damage boost. It says in the bottom left. I see it now. 15% damage boost or something. Sorry, answer my own question.
Nope.
So,
But yeah.
we'll see if that changes it with season 2.
So,
It's kind of too bad that it's only going to last half a season if this team up doesn't kind of continue through, right? They're saying that, okay, we're changing some, and we'll get into that with the patch notes. We're changing some numbers, but all the team ups are going to change as part of season 2. But hopefully not this one.
yeah, I hope this
a lot
one
more
would
time.
stay since it's new.
Yeah.
yeah, I would hope so too.
But that's a good point.
Yep. They also did show they are bringing an exclusive skin for him, and this is the Negative Zone Gladiator skin. The bundle is coming. And so over on Twitter, they said, the flames of rebellion ignite. Do you want to be a slave to fate, a servant to your eventual demise? Or do you want a new rules or a new life? Everything dies. No, everything lives. It's from Fantastic Four, 1998. It says the Negative Zone Gladiator costume for Human Torch is here. Harness its power and set your foes ablaze. It's a pretty sick
It's awesome.
skin.
I freaking love it. It's like coming up his face. Like it's,
Yeah, what is it? Is it like molten
I don't know.
rock? I said he
know.
almost reminds me, his face looks like Kano from
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat to me.
Yeah.
I kept saying. But you get obviously the sick skin. You get the emote, which is kind of funny. I don't know if it's like little bees or something flying around. And he gets
Oh,
like
he's shooting him.
he
Yeah.
gets these little flame
I think
pistols.
Iron
that he's
Man has a
shooting.
similar one.
With
Yes.
like rats.
Yep.
Yeah.
The rats in the battle pass. And then of course you get the nameplate and a spray with that.
MVP intro.
Yeah,
right?
and the MVP, yep, and the MVP as well. So it really does look good. I will say, though, I'm going to kind of echo. I know Matt said this with the Mr. Fantastic and Invisible Woman skins. I kind of dig just the straight up Fantastic Four skins for these characters. Like, they just look good. Like, and we're going to talk about Thing here in a second. But, like, the Johnny, especially the black suit that he has, you know, because every character kind of has that dark one that's not in the store necessarily. If you just go to their cosmetic tab, you can find it. And
Right. And it's fairly cheap too. It's like 600
Yeah.
blue points.
it just looks good, man. He looks really good.
Just an alternate color kind of thing.
Yep.
I'm excited for when they release like a blue fire or a green fire. Like this, he's still kind of red, right?
Yeah.
I want to see them like change the fire color before I invest.
Yeah. All right, let's move on here to the second hero being added, and that is everybody's best friend here, Ben Grimm. So they said Benjamin J. Grimm is undeniably the unwavering heart of any team, always at the forefront of any fight. He's ready to take the lead with his unbreakable form. Ben Grimm originally signed up to be a pilot with his pal Reed, but he never imagined that he'd return from the mission as an indestructible monster, the Thing. Even though beaming cosmic rays transformed his flesh, a heart of gold still beats his rocky exterior. As New York City plunged into the eternal night, the Thing has made it his mission to selflessly protect his home and lead missions to collect Chronovium by putting his piloting skills to the test. So, I will say, this character probably gave me the best first impression I've ever played of a character. Like, the first match I had, it was an actual real person match. It was straight up, I think I had like 2 or 3 back-to-back in the build. Dude, if you like to play a character that is super aggressive, and I mean, what does he have? 700, 800 health? I don't know what it is, but I had an Invisible Woman on my team. I was popping that shield on. He has this ability where you can leap, and so you leap to one of your teammates. Kind of like Mr. Fantastic has the same thing as he pulls himself to it. You shield yourself, shield them, and he has his regular punch that is kind of like this quick little like 2-punch, like doom doom, which is your main, or he has one where he winds it up and it takes it like, I don't know, maybe it winds up for 0.8 seconds. That punch, if you just keep hitting that, like you can wind it up and then aim it and then just land it. It is one of the most satisfying things in this game to hit it over and over. It feels so good. I can't even like describe to you how good he feels to play. And the sound effects, everything they added for that is awesome. He is one of my favorite characters in this game, hands down. What do you guys think?
One thing with that alternate punch, when I first saw you playing him, you streamed yesterday. I was looking at that a little bit. I thought that it would be like you hold the button down and then you're like winding up a punch and then you release it whenever's good for you, but you just click the alternate attack once and it goes through all the motion. So I don't know if you can cancel it. I don't think so.
No, I don't think you can. I think there may be an animation
kinda
cancel, but I mean, we're so early with this character, but you're not going to want to.
But
feels so good.
It definitely feels good. Yeah, I like alternating between that 1-2 and then the big punch, or if you're still not, I think it's got a bit more range.
It does, yeah, because he lunges forward and kind of bam, just hammers people.
It's awesome. This guy's great. I said I was enjoying Hulk. This guy might take his seat. We'll see.
Yeah, Ken's, what do you think of the Thing?
So he's awesome. I'll say that. But I am the problem. I am the problem for sure, because it is whatever it is with these characters like Hulk and Thing that punch, that their fists are their main weapons. I can't aim with them for whatever reason. And so the big wind up punch, I've missed it way too often, and it's like, I don't know what's wrong with me.
Oh, dude.
And so also the run that he has, like his sprint, is like, I can't like aim that either.
It's
And
unwieldy. That
That's
I think they
weird.
Like,
purposely did that.
it's-
Even
I
like Mog in
remember-
Overwatch is the same way.
I was
like
about to
they-
say, I remember the first time I played Mog, I was playing with you guys, and it was like I just like ran off into nothing. And then you're like, Kens, where are you going? And I'm like, I don't know. It's he just running. I can't.
But Ken's, you know what? The best thing about the thing is like if you run off into nothing, he smashes through
Yeah.
everything. Like he almost feels, and this is kind of crazy to say, he almost feels stronger than the Hulk in this game when you run.
Right.
So let's get to some visibilities here because I think
Yeah.
we're kind of tapping into that. So let's talk about that rush. So if you do this sprint with him, you can run, and I think it's a 5 or 6 second
It's pretty
sprint.
long.
Yeah, it's
You're running for a while.
You're running. And but you can pop it whenever you want. He doesn't leap. He just immediately smashes down on the ground. But right here before we went on, we just played a match, and like you can run and smash and literally take down just like towers.
Bridges.
What were we on? We were on the Idrisil domination map, and it was the
beginning
library, the one with the
Yeah.
thing. The very beginning, I just ran and did it and just totally destroyed the walkway and pillars. Then ran up on that little area, the pillar part with the circle around it, just ran out on it and smashed again and just totally took the whole thing down. So he just can destroy everything. So when you hit that, you're not only knocking back the enemies and running through things, but then when you actually smash down, you pop everybody up. And they've timed it where that wind up of your fist, that alternate punch, it's like perfect where you pop them up in the air, and if you hit that real quick, he winds up, and just as they're coming down to land, he just decks them. And when he punches them, they go flying back too. They have a knockback with that.
Do they?
Yeah. So you can just like, pop them up, wind up, hit them, and then start just rushing with your 2-2, you're boom, 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 hitting them both. And it's just, or just keep doing the wind up. Like that's pretty much what I've been doing.
Yeah.
Is just do that over and
I
over.
never really
and
did
over.
that combo either. So I need some more time with him.
Yeah. But then
I
he
thought I
also, here, let me go through the ability. So you have the wind up, we have the rush, you have a leap, so you can leap to your teammates, again, like we said, like Mr. Fantastic, where you give yourself a shield and them, but also a tip with that, it's called his embattled leap. Use that to also get out. So what I found was a lot of times I would rush in, smash, get a couple punches. Maybe at that point, maybe there is a Punisher, because Punisher was melting me in some of these AI matches as well. Quickly turn around, see one of your teammates, and leap out. And the leap is pretty far. Like there was times where I was like, "Wow, I'm able to get that far," because you'll see it pop up, the notification will let you know you can hit it, and just quickly jump out. His ultimate, of course, clobbering time, does a large, like almost like a cone shape in front of you, where then he smashes the ground and all these rocks go forward, and he pops everybody up and does a little bit of damage doing that. And his passive is he's immune to launch up, knockback, and other displacement effects. And I think, is it the rush that you do? Because, Kens, you kept seeing the Earthbound.
Grounded.
It's like, Earthbound, something. It's this thing that pops up on your screen. It's a prompt. I've never seen it before, but it's basically like when you're hit by the thing.
It's the
makes
Yancey
it where you
Street
can't-
charge. Yeah, you
you
charge
can't
forward.
use your movement abilities.
Right. He launches you up, and then you're unable to use a mobility ability for a little bit. So,
Oh. Can you jump?
Yeah, like you can't just use like a big
like
you know-
Rocket can't, I think,
Right.
dash out of the way.
Yeah,
Or like a Hulk leap?
right.
Probably,
I
yeah.
don't
Because
know.
I'm.
Need to
Wow.
test them all.
Yeah.
But he's
That's cool.
awesome. And then his team ups, of course, he has the fastball with Wolverine, which, dude,
Yeah.
I did this the very first match because I don't ever do that when I'm Hulk and there's a Wolverine. It's just like, yeah, you do it and you don't really feel that it's working well. However, with Thing, if you can launch him and then you get the icon to
Jump
then
in.
do the embattled leap, so you
Yeah.
throw Wolverine, he goes smashing in, and then you leap to the Wolverine and then smash down.
You
Oh,
also
that's
will
great.
give him damage resistance too whenever you leap to someone.
Right. Oh, dude,
Oh, okay.
he's so good.
Leapfrog.
You can do leapfrog, yeah.
That's awesome.
But yeah, he just, and then, I had a match where it was like there was a Hulk on the other team. And so it's just like the Thing and the Hulk fighting. I had another match where I had Hulk on my team. So it's me and the Hulk side by side fighting. There's
So
some,
many punches.
I don't know what it is. Like
Yeah.
there's something about this character that just brings like this like physical aggressive nature to the next level. It's just, he's awesome. The voice actor, I forget the man's name that's voicing him, sounds awesome. He's like the perfect fit. All the voice lines are bigger. What did he call you? Captain
Captain
Asgard?
Asgard.
Captain Asgard. We were playing. I was playing Thing, and Ken's was Thor, and he did, I don't know, his ultimate or something, and then Thing just said something like, "Oh yeah, good one there, Captain Asgard." And it was just like, what? Like, it's so ridiculous, but that's totally a thing that the Thing would say. Like, just like, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
he's awesome. So what do you guys think, man? Where's he gonna? Is he gonna be like a good fit? Is he overtuned?
Yeah, I
Like, what do you
so.
think?
I think he'll fit right in. With the current roster, we need a tank, a good stun tank like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's more kind of grounded, right? He's not going to be, well, he's going to
Oh,
be jumping
no.
towards your
Yeah.
team, right? And not like a Venom or a Hulk diving in the back line.
He's a brawler.
Yeah, he's just a
Yeah.
brawler, man. I mean, you're just in there fighting.
Yeah, I wish he had some way to take care of the Flyers, especially you're going to see a lot of Johnny Storm, him being new, right? He's just going to be able to go up high and there's not much you can do, right?
Yeah,
He's just
no.
going to have to use cover and block those sight lines.
Yeah, the one thing you can actually leap to your flying teammates. So, like the last match we were playing, I'd mentioned it to you, Neil, and then you were like flying up in the air. You can jump up in the air to them, but of course, you know, if
They
they're
have to be right beside the
right, if there's an enemy up there, you're not going to be able to do anything to them. But it's another way to get out. So just turn around like you're getting wrecked and go at them, or to get yourself out of there. Now they did, of course, release a skin for him. Got to have that skin, and I mean, come on, it's got to be the trench coat skin, right? We all knew this was coming. It was kind of like the obvious skin for them to pick for him, and it looks great. You know, he has like the 4 on the belt buckle. He's got a little camera on him. He is emote. This is probably the best emote for him too, which I'm debating on buying the skin because, like I said, I really like the way he just looks, just straight up.
Yeah.
In his
Looks
regular.
so
Fantastic
goofy
Four.
running around in that trench coat though.
Yeah,
He's
it
like
is pretty good.
sprinting.
Sunglasses. But dude, the emo is the best because his head catches on fire, and it's as if Johnny Storm like is like antagonizing him. Flew by, lit his head on fire, and he like quickly puts it out. And then he looks up at the sky and like shakes his fist at the sky, like "Damn you!" Like Johnny.
Johnny.
Yeah, and then
That's great.
the MVP screen has him like just in the rain, you know, like this noir type thing, like with doing
Cool.
something with the camera. But yeah, he's
good.
He's great. He's a great addition to the game. I think he's going to be a lot of fun, and I think the combination of him and Johnny, it's really going to change up the meta of kind of everything in this game. Like I think the AOE effects of Johnny's flame fields he's able to put down and kind of create those barriers, and then to have Thing just literally be in your face and creating those stuns, like you said, Ken, to have like a stun tank. Because essentially he really almost has 2 stuns, because I think if you leap to your teammates and pound and there's an enemy there, they pop up. He has his ultimate that stuns, and then he also just has the charge that stuns. You know, you look at like Hulk. What does Hulk have? All Hulk has
Is the one.
Gamma.
Yeah.
ability. That's it. Because even
Gamma
his leap,
burst,
you would
right.
almost think Hulk's leap would maybe stun a little bit when he lands, but it doesn't.
You can grab people out of the air with that.
That's
leap,
true.
Yeah. Which does something. At least grounds them for a second. Which I still can't figure out for the life of me. One day I'll get it. One day I'll understand. I try and like jump, and I know you have to attack while you're jumping to grab it. I don't know. I just have to spend some time there because I keep trying to grab the Iron Man, but it doesn't work.
It's great. Let's see. All right. Anything else on the thing you guys want to throw out there? No.
I don't think so.
Okay.
He's great. I'm a big fan of big brawler tank guys, and I seem to be becoming a Vanguard main, so I'm excited to have someone that's, you know, I like giving my team shields, and being able to do the CC is a lot of fun as a tank rather than just being your Doctor Strange or Magneto holding up those big shields in front of you, right?
Yeah. I mean,
Just a different play style.
I can't express enough how good he just feels to play. That there's something about that wind up punch that they just like they nailed it. And in this playing on controller, I'm sure PC it's gonna feel the same way, but just on a controller, it feels so damn good. Like it just feels awesome. So
That's something that we brought up in, I don't know if it's the Origin episode or not, but that was a comment that I had, like the weight of a character. We talked about
that's
that. I
right,
think
yeah.
it's a combination between the sound effects and if you're playing with a controller, getting the vibration in there too,
Yep.
right? And just how it feels with the timing and I don't have that complaint anymore with the
No,
other
not at
characters,
all.
and definitely not with this character
Yeah,
either.
no.
And it
He's good.
feels awesome.
Let's see. The other big thing coming with this patch, of course, is the new map, the Eternal Empire Night Central Park map coming to the game. So they say take the battle to Dracula's castle in Central Park. When the time stream entanglement swept over New York City, Dracula seized the opportunity with Dr. Doom's gift, stopping the moon and declaring an eternal night with the power of Chronovium. Now the heroes are ready to take the battle to his Gothic headquarters within Central Park, traverse into complete darkness to discover the imprisoned powers on the path to Dracula's castle. Now, I gotta say, and I just have a feeling this is going to become like the statement every time we get a new map in this game. This is the greatest looking map in the game.
It's so cool.
It is so cool. There's so many Easter eggs, so many nuggets. If you start pushing the payload, you start in, I guess, Squirrel Girl's little area. There's this little squirrel copter that's in there that is hilarious. There's a tabletop game where they're playing like a Dracula board game, and there's a little Doctor Strange and a little Blade down there, and a little Squirrel Girl. You start pushing the payload. You're going into like this Gothic cemetery castle area, and you're pushing all the way up to who's the squirrel? Radagast or whatever his name is.
Oh man, we said it like
Yeah,
six
that's
times
pretty
earlier.
much it.
Yeah.
It's Ratatasker.
Ratatasker.
So he is, of course, the squirrel that's been in the stories here through the game's lore up to this point. Season 0, we had him talking about Thor not being there and Loki taking over,
Loki.
and then we had him. Did he meet in the lore of the last event? Did he meet?
He talked about how
Was it Blade or
or
Moon Knight?
somebody mentioned, well, Blade tried to stop Dracula. He got captured, and then he's like, the only other person that can do this is that damn squirrel. So he was our next hope, but I guess he got captured too, so that's why we got to
That's why we got to save him.
get in here.
And I will say he is a rather large squirrel because he
Yes.
becomes the payload. I don't know if this is actually him or if Dracula did something to him, but essentially you push to that first control point. Again, it's a convergence map. Capture him there. He's kind of chained up in the air. He drops down. He looks like this giant squirrel with like a lion's mane and a big unicorn
big
horn
horn.
coming off the head.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You
serious.
push forward. There's a lot of verticality in this map, a lot of little rooms you can go through, a lot of destruction. You can destroy a lot of that, especially if your thing just running through there and smashing everything. You eventually push into Dracula's castle. There's statues in there of like knights and armor and all that kind of your
And
classic.
also lots of statues of Dracula.
Lots of statues of Dracula, that's right. And then eventually, once you get in there, you see that. And then there he is. You see Dracula up in the air with the Darkhold, reading it, casting whatever evil magic he's casting. And behind him, his throne / coffin is behind him. And if you win, I think the screen you see actually has him, you see him going into the coffin and being defeated. Or if you lose, I think that's where you see, is it Moon Knight is doing something with the Yonks.
I don't know what's going on with Moon Knight in
Oh,
this
I didn't see
thing,
that.
but he's a bit important part of this map for some reason.
Yeah, but he seems like he's kind of villain, man. I don't know. Now, he was actually in the Baxter Tower, though, right? When you go to the Midtown map, I think he's in the tower, isn't he, with Mr. Fantastic in Iron Man?
Right.
So they must have been coming up with their plan, and then, I don't know, whatever happens here. But, Ken's mentioned it. Like, if you look around at the skybox in this, like, you can see the moon. You can see, actually, at one point, you look off to the side, you see Avengers Tower off in the distance. There's so much in this map. Like, I urge everybody, when you get in there, to go do a custom game and just walk around this map. That's what we did just a little while ago. We got in separate teams, so you can, like, actually take your time going through it, and it's great.
A lot of nooks and crannies, a lot of spaces you're going to find your health packs, Mark. So don't refresh that
Yeah,
just
no, I'm
yet.
taking
Just
notes.
play one round on this.
Yeah.
You'll get your 5 health packs before
Sure.
the first points captured for sure. The indoors kind of gives me vibes of the Doom match map. like some of the insides a little bit. And then my question is, how did Dracula get his castle in Central Park? Do you
I
think
was just thinking that.
did he
He
have
has the
his
Darkhold, dude. Right?
Well, did he have his vampire minions build it for him, or did it get transported from another dimension? Maybe.
I don't know, but he brought like the whole cemetery and everything, man. There's like a bunch of stuff going on there. Now,
It's huge.
you do see if you are on the team that's pushing at the end, you do spawn in a room with Blade chained up.
Yes.
And it's full. I mean, it's the
Animated.
what I would
Character
assume
model.
is the character
Yeah.
model, right, of Blade. So, I
Give them to
mean,
me.
are we? I mean, is this kind of like
Please.
guaranteed that this character is going to be like by the end of the season, like he's coming into the game? Like, is he going to be the first hero at the start of season 2?
I hope so. And I think that'd be really cool to kind of continue the story rather than like jump from season to season and just be like, okay, now we're doing something totally different and it's going to be this. I think having the connection, like we thought that they would go, we mentioned it about the Wakanda or like the Clintar, right? We thought that maybe they were going to go with expanding on that, and then they jumped to this Darkhold thing. But some of the story bits in the event talked about the Darkhold, or maybe it was just because we did the Doctor Strange lore and I read his in-game lore, but it came up in a lot of the individual hero lore anyway, talking about the Darkhold and all that stuff. So you could know it's coming. So if we read more of these in-game lore, I wonder if we can kind of see where the story is going to go after this.
Yeah, I mean, I would hope that the story at least continues. Like, okay, Blade's a part of the team now, and then we go to another Chronoverse and whatever next season brings with it. But carry him over, I think, would be awesome. And we're just kind of assembling these teams, I guess, or this team of people to kind of go to these different Chronoverses and fight the dooms that are causing
But also,
chaos.
I know that we have Spider Zero that kind of walks around in that one map, and then Loki kind of floats around. But are there any other maps where like there's other NPCs? Like,
Is Shuri? Do we see Shuri in any of the maps?
she's at the end, like kind of the windscreen, and we see like Scarlet Witch and Doctor Strange.
But I mean, even
one,
Dracula. We can throw out Dracula.
That's what I know. That's what I mean. Is like, so like we've got to be getting Blade as a character eventually. But I mean, there's Dracula's model right there too. So can we get the real villain that we've been asking for?
He looks awesome, dude. He looks really good.
The other thing I saw was on the new event page that is, I'm assuming, releasing on Friday with 1.5. When you go to do your new to-do list, the front page again, it's like a newspaper similar to the last event. And Blade, it looks like a kind of different character model, but he's on there too with like a giant sword on his back. So maybe that might be one of his costumes.
I didn't read too much into that because I didn't want to spoil like too much of that story. But like the front page, what's his name? Is it Eric Brooks? Is that his name?
Yeah, something like that.
So it says he's like missing, and so obviously he's been captured by Dracula, we know. But like they're really pushing that in that event, and when you kind of scroll through the pages, like that's I think what they're working towards. But of course, in this build that we have, we can kind of unlock all that stuff. And like I said, I didn't want to read it because I like to kind of. When the season comes out, I actually want to learn that story as we go through. But I will say the skin you unlock. So if you remember the last time we unlocked the Thor skin, got to get that Thor skin.
Yep.
This time we are unlocking a Groot skin.
Yes.
And it looks pretty sick. He's carrying this like lantern on his hip. It's kind of
like
glowing.
Groot.
And he's all like,
oh
gothic.
yeah.
It's just cool looking.
He's not as thick.
Oh. Well, I'm in need of a Groot skin, so I'm glad that that's there.
Yeah. So that's going to be a reward from that, and it looks pretty awesome. Sweet. So that's we of course we did mention the event. I'm trying to think what else was kind of new in there. So the event's in there, and it's the same thing. You got your three different things you have to meet for each page, and then of course you can choose from the two. They're keeping that in there, which is pretty awesome. And then I think that's kind of it for that. Of course, we did get some nice hero balance updates that they did put out there, and we do want to kind of scroll through some of these here and talk about some of these. So, let's just kind of start at the top of these guys. So these are, if you want to go, you can check out the Marvel Rivals website. This is Marvel Rivals version 2025-02221. And this is, of course, launching on Friday as they kick off season 1.5. Yep. So Captain America, they're giving him a little bit of a buff. And they did talk about this in the dev diary, which we didn't talk about the dev diary. I mean, a lot of what we've talked about so far was in there. Our boy Guan Guan was back. So go watch that. I recommend you check it out. It's about an 11-minute video. But Captain America getting a little bit of a buff. You're going to be able to shield yourself mid-leap, which I think is awesome. Not that I think really had the skill to ever really be trying to do that, but but I probably did. I mean, it's
Yeah.
But also the shield now is ricocheting much faster, which I didn't notice. I went into the practice range with him, and you could see that. Like, it's pretty wild. So it goes from 100 meters per second to 150, and
It's quite the increase.
yep, they're reducing.
That's
the
like
cost
your
of his
single
ultimate.
throw, right?
Yes, just like, but it like, dude, it comes back, and I love how they even put in there. Where was it that you'll be able to? So the mid leap, you can shield yourself. Didn't they say something like, yeah, combat experience by separating Sentinel Strike from melee attacks. So you'll be able to use your melee attacks while the shield is thrown or during the team up ability charged state. But like when you throw your shield, like you don't have time to punch because it comes back so damn fast.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like, yeah, he's
We'll see.
he's been buffed up.
One thing from that dev talk, I don't know if we're going to catch it in this
No, go ahead.
read through, but they talked about your extra chrono tokens. So the ones you
yes.
get from your from doing the missions
Battle
and
pass.
stuff, getting your
Purple ones.
finding your health packs. You know, Mark, I know we love that. You love to do that. So they will transfer into, I'm assuming, the blue units. What are units?
Well, what it was because remember they were saying some people purchased some with real money, and originally you were just gonna, if you didn't spend what you had, the way they were converting it was gonna be all weird. So what they're doing is whatever's left, you have to basically buy everything on the battle pass, and then there's gonna be a conversion, and they are gonna carry over.
My understanding is even if you don't spend money on it, you still get to earn, I guess, blue units with, say, if you finish your battle pass and you're still playing and finishing these missions, you're still earning yourself. It's not 1-to-1. They said there's going to be some sort of ratio to it, maybe 3-to-1 or something like that. But you will be earning some sort of currency after you finish the battle pass.
The ratio that I saw, take this with a grain of salt. This may or may not. I couldn't see if this is official or not, but I think it's 1,000 or 100 to 1,000. So like 1,000 of the battle pass currency into 100 of the blue units.
Okay.
So I think
That's
it's
quite a bit,
something
though.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. At least it's something, though, right?
Right.
Their point there was, we want you to always be earning something while you play our game,
Right.
which is obviously they want us to just keep playing and dig those hooks deeper into us.
That's right. Let's see. Our buddy Doctor Strange reducing his health. I don't know. I don't like that. So when I was like, I guess, I mean, there are some matches where like he is hard to kill, but like I enjoy playing Doctor Strange, and I don't know how much. I don't know. What do you guys think of this change? Like, do you think it's really going to make?
It's not a lot,
Right.
but it might be. I think it. I think it might. They talk about that triple, the triple healer meta.
Yeah.
Strategist, yeah. That's right.
Um,
That wasn't the dead
Yeah,
diary.
triple strategist meta, and it. I think that, I guess that's where this is coming from, is like, let's tone that down a little bit and let's make it to where. So I think maybe this is just kind of the tuning that it needs to maybe
Pick someone else.
pick somebody else,
Yeah.
because Magneto too is a part of that, and he had some similar reductions.
Yeah. Yeah, he's getting a little dip too yet at his survivability. It looks like his with the curtain now actually will take less damage, right? I guess. So it's like
It's
before
less time.
Right.
Yeah.
So like the
So
actual
it lasts for 1.5 seconds, not 2, and you're reduced. Like there's a bar that fills up when it recharges, and you deplete that faster as well.
right. So
But they're giving him more projectile damage. They're like, hey, take some more damage, but we're taking away your big shield.
Mhm.
But
That's
as
fine.
you said last week, Ken's, that bubble is the more important one anyway, and they're not touching
Mhm.
that because that gives you I don't know if it's Iron Volley. It's your
Yeah, that's what it is. All right, that's
so it gives you
the
that
big shot.
charge. Yeah, so it gives you that charge when you use your bubble shield, not from this big one that I like to eat Iron Man's ult with.
Well, Matt said over in the chat that the Dev Diary made it sound like this isn't going to be permanent. What they're doing, they're really kind of just playing with this right now to kind of see what they can kind of do with the meta and kind of get people off that three strategist thing. And like Matt said, it's like encouraging kids to play with more toys, which is kind of cool that they're able to do that, right? I
Yeah,
mean, that's
test
the
it out.
point. That's what they're
Here's some
trying to
new
do.
toys, a couple new characters.
Groot getting, I was kind of hoping he'd get maybe a little bit more, but all they're doing is really adding his wall placement from 15 meters to 18 meters.
Yeah, it's nothing.
So nothing, right? I mean, which
That's
Groot
kinda
I
nice,
think is
though.
in a good place though. Like he's,
Yeah.
I don't want to say he's situational, but there is times to use him and times not to. And the walls are pretty much everything with him. So as long as you can just stay alive, just keep pushing those walls and, either pushing it forward so you can, if you're pushing a payload, the enemy team can't shoot you, or you're actually denying the healers from healing their teammates
Right.
by putting the walls behind the enemies. And when they try to back up, number one, they're not getting the health, but
You're
then
stuck, bro.
Yeah, right. They get stuck. So he's in a good place, I think. Let's see, Thor. I know you were happy about this one, Kens.
Yeah.
They're removing the shared cooldown time after the duration of the Awakening Rune ending. So
Yeah,
what
this
does
feels
that
really
mean?
good. So there would be a bit of a delay before you could do anything after you use the Awakening Rune, which is the like his big like floaty shooting lightning ability.
Yeah.
Like once that's over, there would just be like this little bit of a delay before you could do much else, and that's now gone. So you can like go right into using other stuff as soon as that's over with.
You can
So
ride
that's
the lightning.
That's that shared cooldown of whenever you use like the hammer throw or the
Right. Or
the
this
charge
Everything was on a
ability.
shared cooldown
Yep.
with him,
It-
right?
Mhm.
It does that. So with the square or with your transforming ability, you can use stuff right away, which is nice because
It is
you
nice
lose-
because
Yep.
the like his like hammer swing, where his movement ability with the dash, you can kind of be in there slinging that lightning and now immediately dash out with that.
Yes.
So,
Because you
Yeah.
lose all ability to do that while you're in
Right.
lightning mode.
mhm.
So it's nice to get that as soon as you are out of lightning mode. It makes sense because I like my thought of it is that you're using a hammer ability, you got to wait for the hammer to come back, or you've got to wait for, the charge to come back before you use it. But when you're in lightning mode, you're not using your hammer at all. So why is
Mhm.
it tied to that hammer cooldown? So they're fixing the lore too.
Let's see. Venom is going to be a little bit more, what do they say, menacing. So they're reducing the cost of his ultimate. So you can hopefully be popping that off a little bit more often. I have played him in the build, and I think Kenz, you did too. It's like
it's
you
just a
notice it, but you
little bit.
don't. Yeah, it's
Little
not
bit.
not a ton. But the big thing is the knockback effect of his dash. Like when you kind of go into the ground, the knockback effect is going from vertical to inward with an inward knockback angle of 75 degrees. So they kind of pop up and kind of come towards you.
Yeah,
So
they're more like up
awesome.
in the air now than going back away from you.
Yeah.
So it's similar to like the Thing, and kind
Right.
of his stuns. So it's
Mhm.
awesome to be just like, and it's on a short cooldown too, so you can just keep like swinging up and diving back down and stunning people.
Get your tendrils out. With the energy cost reduction, one of the things they talked about in the dev diary was they want to increase the energy cost. So you're going to be getting your percentage for your ult slower for some of the heroes like Cloak and Dagger. They want to reduce it for some other heroes to just kind of even it out, because as a strategist or as Cloak and Dagger, you're gaining energy a lot faster with all the healing you're doing and all this other stuff. So they're just trying to even that out a little bit more, which is nice, because it seems like Cloak and Dagger have their ult every team fight. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So yeah, that's getting decreased. The ultimate there for Cloak and Dagger. Some of the other big ones here, because I mean, we could go through all these. If it would take us a while, but let's see. Black Widow, they're increasing her magazine size and also adding. Kenz, you picked up on this. I didn't see it earlier, but they're adding to her electroplasma explosion, her ultimate ability. is going to be the slow effect is going from 80% to 55, but it's adding a 15% vulnerability effect to hit enemies for 4 seconds, which is pretty
Yeah,
crazy.
we were playing, and I was like, "What is this purple stuff on the enemies?" And it's like Black Widow's ultimate. So, she makes enemies more 15% vulnerability. That's a big deal. So, maybe you'll see some more Widow.
Yeah,
I wonder what the percentage, because another thing that does that is Cloak and Dagger's bad window
bad
thing,
mist.
Right? Yeah, the bad mist. So is that around there?
Add in a rocket ultimate, which is going to give you more damage.
Yep.
So it's like they're taking more damage, you're doing more damage. There's some combos there.
Yeah, and so this seems more of a like initiation alt rather than a finisher, right?
Yeah,
they're going to slow down, they're going to take more damage, similar to Venom's alt that we just talked about. That's more of an initiation thing too.
I think the award for the longest explanation of a change goes to Iron Fist.
That's a lot of words.
I don't know what's going on. There's a lot of words happening there.
Well, he's got a long name, right? Yeah, Ji Chung Quinn.
Just I don't even know what's happening. Like, we're reducing damage from the first, second, and fifth strikes, and then the third and fourth are doing this, but yeah, we're adding extra hits and 1.7%. It's just okay. Like, we'll see what happens. But you know what I will say though, actually, from season 0 to these first 6 weeks of season 1, I haven't seen a lot of Iron Fist. Like, there was a lot of Iron Fist in season 0. Hell, I was even playing a lot of Iron Fist.
Yeah.
I just don't see him anymore. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, maybe this is what he needs.
What is Harmony? I've never played Iron Fist.
You hit a button and like he just kind of like hovers and meditates, and you add bonus health.
Okay.
It adds,
because 50 to 150 is pretty massive.
Yeah.
So is he like stationary when he does that?
Yes, absolutely. So what you want to do is usually do that like first, like hide up in a room, do that, and then go in, do your fights, get out of there, and then go meditate again.
I was using it as like a recovery thing, but I
mean, it is, but you can't do it like in the middle of a fight. You got to like get out of
there.
Then he's got his increased health is from 250 to 300, and his bonus health from block damage goes up from 150.
He's going to be a menace, dude.
So he's
whatever.
This is not good. This is rough. This is going to be rough.
Get your thing to protect you.
Yeah.
I will say I did have. I mean, granted, it was an AI Iron Fist, but he was all over me. His thing. I had a match earlier, and like they had an Iron Fist on the team, and he was just going nuts on me. But he couldn't take me down because I had a good healer, I guess. Let's see. Magic is getting a little bit of
strategist. I hear.
Matt is screaming.
He's screaming
We're
right
more
now.
than just healers.
I'll never get it right.
Let's see. Magic, she is getting her damage capability be slightly reduced, but her energy cost for her ultimate is being slightly lowered. So, they're going to be able to pop off that Dark Child a lot more often. You're going to be hearing that, I think, more often.
She's great.
Let's see. The big change to Moon Knight. Everybody was all mad about Moon Knight with his ultimate, so they reduced the Hand of Khonshu Talon's falling speed, so you can get out of there a little bit quicker. And they also correct the damage trigger logic for it. So the previous mechanism that dealt 75 damage when positioned at the center of the spell field has been removed, and they've increased the damage of each hit from 75 to 150. So you're going to have a little bit more time to get out of there, I guess. I guess that's what they're telling me there.
It's hard for me to follow.
Yeah, I've read that like 3 times now. Hang on. So
one more time. Who else?
I thought it was. It had been brought up that it was bugged before, right?
They were saying that it was bugged, yeah,
because they buffed it last time. But anyway, so
let's see. Storm. They're toning down her Tempest from long range and recalibrating her bonuses. So her damage fall off from the wind blade at 30 meters will be changed from 70 to 60. So her range is getting a little reduced there. Her damage increase from thunder during weather control is also being reduced from 16 to 12%. However, the damage increase for allies has been increased from 8 to 10. So it's basically having, because I would usually use that like, I didn't even care where my allies were. It was just like, I'm just popping that. And
there's no reason not
more
to
damage.
use that. Like it's just all the time. That's what, other than at the beginning, whenever you spawn.
But now they kind of want you to do it.
Back.
Yeah, with your allies. And then reducing the damage increase from her thunder. So they are just giving her a little bit of a nerf. So I'm interested to see.
Yeah.
Well, she's going to have fire tornadoes, so you got to do something.
It's true. It's true. And then let's see the strategist. We mentioned the cloak and dagger. They're kind of decreasing increasing the cost of their ultimate. So it's going to, of course, decrease the uptime you're going to see for that. Adam Warlock, they're increasing his damage capability, which is kind of crazy because you see him more when you watch these, like the Invitational and stuff like that. He's on a lot of the teams, really more for the revives, but a lot of people doing damage with him, but now they're just upping his damage even more.
I want to go back up to duels for a second.
Yeah.
Scarlet Witch is getting a pretty big buff, similar to the Storm buff, where she gets some extra health during her ultimate. So she's
That's
getting
good.
100 bonus health during her ultimate ability that will decay at a rate of 50 health per second. So that she's gonna be a little bit harder to kill when the perfect hex is coming out.
You know what? You don't see her like the alpha. She was a monster.
Yeah.
And like she's slowly, I don't want to say like gone down, but like her ult doesn't seem as effective as it was.
Yeah.
That's going to
It's
bring
just
it
so
back.
easy to kill. It's like,
Yeah.
so playing Magneto a lot, I get a Scarlet Witch a lot that will do the team up ability, and I always try to make sure that I shield her, whenever she goes in the ultimate, and
Yeah.
she'll always get it off. But if she doesn't have something like that or like direct heals, it's just not going to happen. Like she just take her down so fast.
Or a strange portal to confuse everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just coming at the last second.
Let's see. Invisible Woman, they're reducing the frequency of her ultimate by increasing the cost.
Yeah, it
of
seems like
that.
it's up a lot too.
It does,
Mhm.
yeah. You see that one a bunch.
ultimate.
Yeah. Then I mean, same thing with Luna.
Loki, everybody, all the strategists, because
I
they
mean,
get
Yeah.
points
So-
for healing, right? And they're just healing all the time. So
I'm glad they're increasing the energy cost for Luna's ultimate, so you're not going to see it as much. But like, shouldn't we like decrease the uptime of that when you pop it? Like, is it
Yeah,
just
it
me, or
seems
does
like
it
it
seem to
lasts a
go
while.
on forever? Like, are
It's
they?
ridiculous. I'm just like standing there. I just might as well be dancing with her. Like, it's,
Yeah,
I just shoot
Everyone-
in there. Just there's probably guys in there. Let's just shoot in.
Just
there.
shoot anyways, yeah.
Yeah.
So
and do
so
nothing.
I would want to know, like, as a Johnny Storm, if you put down those flame fields and create a box in that, like, what's going to be? Is that going to keep a level? What's going to happen to the health?
To
You know,
heal?
is
What's
she going
higher?
to be able to heal the damage that you're going to be doing to that?
Yep.
And then what's the uptime of that? You know,
In the ultimate, I would assume so. I would assume she would heal through it, but
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Fire tornadoes might.
Oh,
do
fire
it.
tornado
Well,
better take it out.
the AOE for Cloak and Dagger's ult, is that more or less than the healing? Yeah, there's just a lot. I see that Jeff's ultimate wasn't been touched, and he's the one who gets me the most. Spit me out the window or out off the side of the map. Seems like he's doing that all the time too.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Go read those hero balance changes. I mean, there's a lot coming with that, and go check out your favorite
huge.
heroes and see now.
Team ups as well. They're
Yeah.
changing some of those.
They also updated the hero hot list. So if you head on over to the Marvel Rivals website, you can go there and see the win rates, pick rates, all that. So looking at let's start on the PC in quick play. Cloak and Dagger, top of the list with Invisible Woman, second. Doctor Strange, and then
terms
Venom,
of
just
pick rate?
to name a few. That's the pick rates.
Yeah.
Win
Cloak and
rates.
Dagger's great.
Let's see. Win rates are
Storm,
yes,
Mantis, Rocket,
Storm.
Penny. Yeah, Penny's great.
What do you guys think of
The
that?
Storm.
Storm with the win rate.
Yeah, her pick rate's very low with 3.7%, but her win rate's 58%. So that's why they're tuning her, I think.
Yeah.
Mantis as well, very high skill, getting those crits to get your heals back, 10% pick rate. So a couple of these characters aren't picked very much because they're kind of hard to play, but they're winning a lot. Penny, that's my character there, fourth on the list, 14% pick rate, which is kind of a high number compared to the others, and how many characters there are, 54% win rate. So
Yeah.
she's great for the defend maps and even the domination maps. It's good to hide that spider nest somewhere and just let it rip.
Now, when you go over to the console side of things, somewhat similar. I mean, Cloak and Dagger still, which it's funny to see Cloak and Dagger. Well, I think going into Season 0, like I didn't think Cloak and Dagger would be like one of the top healers, but I think kind of having that, I don't want to say auto aim with the heals, but it's like that really is what it is, right? I mean, the fact
That's
that you're
what I like about it. Yep.
much easier to heal, very easy to heal with that character. And you see a lot of people insta-lock. You know, I mean, I did it last season with competitive, and you see that a lot now with people kind of across the board. Competitive, again, pick rate on console and on PC. Cloak and Dagger at the top. A lot of Doctor Strange in there for competitive as well. The win rates, again, Storm at the top for competitive as well for both PC and console. And I think that's just because there's the less people you have picking, you're just I think that's probably why you're seeing that win rate there.
Something interesting that I'm seeing here is when you change from console to PC, Mr. Fantastic is more popular with the console, or not more popular, but is winning more on console. And similar to Cloak and Dagger's auto aim, Mr. Fantastic, when you're doing your basic attack, I'm just swinging them everywhere, right? Because it's not like a single point you hit. You sit it out, and then you just you slide across the screen. So I use that a lot because my aim is terrible, and I do very well with Mr. Fantastic.
Yep. So go check that out. You can check it out on the Marvel Rivals website, the Hero Hot List. They've updated it, and I think this probably is going to happen probably every
season.
I guess every 6 weeks we'll kind of get an update to that.
I was surprised. I thought that it would be live or every week kind of thing. Like when you have these 3 third-party sites, there's that tracker.gg site, like that is updated all the time. And when I used to use them with some MOBAs and stuff like that, what talents are people picking or what items at the shop or win rates with that's basically live. I don't know how they get the information from that, but they're taking their time, and I think this coming out with the patch notes makes sense. They're like, hey, look at these win rates. That's why we're nerfing these people. We want to kind of even it out. So that, I guess, makes sense, but it's cool that they're putting it out themselves, so you know it's real.
All right. Well, I will say, I think if you're listening to this before the release of 1.5, you got a lot to be excited for, because overall, I think this patch is fantastic. I mean, no pun intended in saying that, but like to get 2 heroes, 2 incredibly fun heroes, to get a map that is just freaking awesome, all these balance changes, like the game is, again, just 6 weeks from it feeling this way again, is going to just feel new and fresh, adding this to the game. And dude, looking forward to the next season, I mean, they're telling us 2 heroes a season, so we can probably just assume a hero every 6 weeks. Yeah. If they can keep that pace up, I mean, it just totally changes the meta, totally changes so much about the game. I'm excited. I'm really excited to get this out in the wild and just be jumping into some regular matches, and it's going to be great.
I think the cadence is really nice with the 6 weeks, and going back on what we talked about last week or the week before when they were changing their mind about the ranked rewards. I think having this like half season, I mean, why not just make the season 6 weeks? But one thing is paying for your battle pass. The other thing is having a time for your rank to get up or whatever. And the other thing is the team ups. You want your team ups to last longer than these 6 weeks when you're bringing in new heroes, because they're very cool. And I don't know how much they're going to actually be changing that up with the second season, but we'll see.
Yeah. The one negative of every 6 weeks is that I don't have time to play other video games. Like,
right.
You know what I mean?
What
like,
want.
It's like, can I play something else? Like Avowed came out this week, and I'm like, I played a little bit of that, but then I was like, but I can just keep
it's
tough grind, and like,
it's your gold.
Oh man.
That's what I was doing. I started playing Avowed. I was like, man, I just want to get back into competitive, and so I did. But
they know what they're doing when it comes to this. Of just keeping us engaged, and again, just having the Marvel IP on it. It just forces me at least to constantly be up on it. And I don't know about you guys too. I mean, we obviously do the lore bits here on the show, and of course we're not doing one this week, but like, I was gung-ho this week. I was going to catch up on the Marvel Unlimited Astonishing Spider-Man Infinity comic, and then I was going to start reading the current run of Amazing Spider-Man, and then we got this early access build, and I was reading Fantastic Four today instead. So it's like it's
Wow.
forcing me to go read these books and just constantly be engulfed in like just Marvel. It's
Yep.
like doing exactly what it's
It's
supposed
nice.
to be doing.
I wonder where I would be without this game in terms of my hype for Marvel, because I was kind of on a decline for a little bit. Like the state of the MCU, and just in like what a lot of people are feeling of that like superhero fatigue. It was cool. It will never not be cool, but it
Right,
was
right,
like,
right.
yeah, like that's another superhero thing. Cool, great. But like this has fully reignited me for all things Marvel again, comics, the MCU. Like I was so excited I was excited to see Deadpool and Wolverine, but before Deadpool and Wolverine, I can't remember the last time I was that excited to see a Marvel movie, the Falcon or Captain America. But it was because of this game, because I've been so hyped up with it again.
Yep. And I mean, I mentioned it just the season finale came out, but your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, yeah,
Go watch
Ooh.
it. Good. Ends on I mean, they've committed to 3 seasons. The last episode, they kind of wrap up all the different character stories, but there's something that in someone that you see at the end of this one that was just like, wait a minute, what are we doing? And it's very interesting.
I'm very behind. Need to catch up.
Watch it.
Firing on all cylinders.
It's actually really, really good.
Yeah.
But all right, well, let's move on here, fellas, to our final segment, the part of the show where we get you, the listeners, involved that we call our what ifs. All right. Well, as always, again, you can contact the show by shooting us an email to rivalsassemblepod@gmail.com. Or, of course, you can reach out to us on Spotify or all our other socials at Rivals Assemble. But we got an email. This one came to us from David, and he said, loving the show, guys, all the way from England. Do you think it would be possible for the developers to make a Scotty Young variant skin? He says he's an artist I wasn't aware of until reading Avengers vs. X-Men. P.S. As Cyclops is one of my favorite Marvel characters, do you think he could work in a game like this? Keep up the good work. So first of all, let's talk about the Scotty Young variant skins. And if you guys haven't seen this at all, or any of his artwork, Scotty Young draws kind of these like chibi-looking, pop figure-y looking, like big head,
very cartoony
type characters.
Yeah.
I don't know if they would necessarily add variant skins, but I could see a game mode that would be like that, where everybody on the map is that. You know what I mean? That would be cool. I think if they
Definitely
did
sprays, 100%.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like-
yeah. There you
like
go.
there's no like that's the perfect type of spray.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The second question though, sorry, I interrupted
Cyclops,
you, Neil.
no.
You just-
the just the proportions are different, right? For these characters, so it'd be hard because they're all about the silhouettes and the models. So changing like their actual shape is going to be difficult.
I got it. Are you ready for this? Here it is. So if NetEase, if you want to hire me, it's fine. So up to this point, we've added other games into this, right? We had our Splatoon.
Events. Yep.
We had our Rocket League. Let's bring in Fall Guys.
Oh,
And it's the Fall Guys, and you're using the Scotty
That's
Young
awesome.
variants. And so you're like the
Yes.
little dudes, and you're running around like all crazy. Give me
Those are great. I'm
Marvel
here for it.
Rivals, Fall Guys, and it's all Scotty Young variant characters. I think would be great. Let's do it.
Boom.
It's happening.
You're
Happening.
welcome.
Hire me.
Let the record show Mark came up with it first.
We'll see where we are.
Yeah, definitely not happening. Let's talk about Cyclops. So I think that's somebody mentioned Among Us. That's another one too. We can do Among Us. That said, I think that would work as well.
Eventually, they'll do them all, right?
We're gonna do them all. Yeah, we're gonna be playing like Gears of War at some point here. Cyclops, though, I think we might have mentioned him before as a possible character for this game, and I think he
Absolutely.
would be great. Right,
Yeah.
shooting the eye beams, big optic blast down the field. Also, be able to punch. I think would be cool. Yes, put him in the game.
Yep.
Now. I think
when I think about Cyclops lately, I've thought about his one intro in X-Men '97, where all of the everybody can fly, right? And they're all jumping out of like the plane or the helicopter or whatever to like go fight the Sentinels. And everyone's flying, and it's like, oh, there's Cyclops. What's he gonna do? He jumps out and he just like eye beams the ground to slow himself
so
down.
awesome.
And it is the coolest thing. It's so awesome. And it's like, I want something like that. Like, give me like some like eye beam like movement ability or something where he
that
like
would be
shoots the
sweet.
ground or a building and like propels himself. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
shoot
something
at the
like
ground, you
that.
like pop yourself up. Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be cool. Let's see. Next one comes to us from D-Gall Day 1530 over on Spotify, and he says, "Can you guys do a most underrated, overrated section?" He said, like tank DPS support team ups. I think Black Panther is criminally underrated. So, do you guys have any overrated, underrated characters in the game?
Well, I think Black Panther is great. So I guess I agreed that he's underrated because he's always in the back line messing things up. And I think if you can play him right, then he's a great character. There's just so many characters, right?
Yeah.
Like it's hard. You're not going to see them all every game. So
I think Jeff is
Um,
overrated.
yeah, if you got a DPS Jeff, he'll take
It's really
you down
annoying.
and then eat you and spit you out.
I might say Namor for underrated.
That's a good pick. Yeah.
I don't ever play him, but I noticed that whenever I find him, he's kind of just like right there in the middle of it's like he can do really well, and also I kind of ignore him. But our team does really well whenever I have a good Namor on our team. So
Captain America maybe underrated a bit. We there's some chatter going on in the Discord.
man.
We
Oh,
found
the
all of
Captain
the
America
Captain
lot.
America.
I think we literally have
gangs.
found the top 5 Cap players are in our Discord. I think they are. And they're letting us know it too.
Yeah, they similar to my Black Panther woes, Captain America in your back line. It's hard to take him out, and he's always picking on your squishies. So
Yep.
I feel like a good Cap player is very valuable to the team.
been some great buffs too. So prepare for pain.
So it's even worse. Yeah, get me to diamond so I can band him.
Let's see. Next one comes to us from Dylan James Lang, and he says, "Do you guys think there should be cross-platform progression? I started the game Season 0 and Season 1 on Xbox and have all of my skins in time played. I've recently moved into my first house and finally have my PC set up and made the switch to playing PC, but now have none of my progression or skins, and it's very depressing." Dylan, this is something I think definitely. I remember from like day one, we were saying, please give us cross-platform progression.
They had it where you play the alpha, you get a certain skin, but
right.
you played on PlayStation and then you got your new computer, so you'll never be a cyan blue Venom.
No,
Is
but I'll be that white Scarlet Witch, man, because I'm playing on PC.
There you go.
That's where we
So-
played the alpha.
Yeah,
so-
no,
Technically, the technicality of it, maybe there's a reason, but I can't think of a reason why like we won't eventually have this. Like it's got.
they do it in other games.
Yeah.
They did mention that it's something that they're working on, but it wasn't going to come with launch. So we
That's
will get
fine.
it eventually.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of the other games do it because it's going to be tied to your NetEase account. Like we all have NetEase accounts to play this
We do.
now, or no?
Yeah.
Now we do. Yeah.
When you go to the website, actually, you can log in and it's like a NetEase account that's actually on the Rivals website. You know, the hard part now, and you think like it would have been easier if they set it up before release, is that when you have someone like either in Dylan's case
Two
or
accounts.
like you mentioned us, I have Scion on my console, I have the Scion Venom, and then I have the white Scarlet Witch. They have to merge those accounts, and you know, I'm trying to think, Ken, do you remember back when Destiny? I'm trying to think.
Was
When
just
Destiny-
You had
bring
to
that
pick
up.
one.
You picked
You
one.
had to
You had to
pick an
pick
account, and you lost.
Or
the
his
rest of them.
characters, I
Right.
think, though, right? You could pick characters from each account.
No account. So
No?
like if
what
you
one's your
had
main account?
yeah. So
No.
if I had I had like if I had like my Hunter on PlayStation and my Warlock on Xbox, like I would only get to keep one of those.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And you would think it would be more difficult. So it's like knowing that this was something that many games are already doing and something that you're eventually going to get in there. Like it seems like it would have been easier to do with them. But again, they were more focused on just getting the game out
Yeah,
and
make it
doing what they
working.
need to do. So understandable. And they, of course, told everybody from the get-go, this is the way it's going to be. We are looking at it, but it's not coming for a while. So, you know, unfortunately, people that made that decision, you know, and Dylan, it sucks, man, that you did that. But, you know, unfortunately, That's just kind of where we are right now. So until we have details on how they're going to merge those, you're just going to have those two separate accounts. But I mean, the good thing in that case is you can, play on the different player pools, if you want to say, competitively.
Right.
So if you have friends on one platform and that, you kind of jump around. But yeah, that stinks.
I'm wondering if what was I going to say there? Oh, never mind. Go ahead.
Moving on.
What's
This is from Jared Wonderly. And he says, first off, love you guys and the show, but someone needs to ask the real questions like, do you think we'll get an X-Men 97 skin of Magneto in his underwear?
Man, the first thing that I thought of when I read this email was it gave me flashbacks to the Halo TV series of Master Chief doing his thing. So yeah, so, I mean, yeah, bring it on. Give me.
I mean, we got Thing is almost in his underwear, right? I mean,
basically.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. But yeah,
We'll
I don't think we're getting that skin, but we may
probably
get
a spray though.
Some X-Men 97 skins would be sweet though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's see. Next one comes to us from Miles Bro. And they said, hello, gents. Hope all is well. Still enjoying the podcast and just the camaraderie. After hearing about the competitive rank updates, I was happy about it since I don't like grinding the ranks several days a week because it weighs too much on me. But I'm currently platinum, going for diamond, and just curious what you guys say is the biggest struggle with rank, both on your own shortcomings and or the struggles of trying to work with your teammates. He says, I main support, but flex all roles, by the way. See, that's the thing. Like, I don't think I can really pin down because every match it's different. I mean, I guess, if anything, it's a shortcoming. I mean, I've actually started this week to actually try to communicate more in the chat, like texting to my team, like when I die. But I see I don't ever join the team chat. And most people don't. Like every game I'm in, I never hear anybody talking.
No.
So every now and then, but it's pretty rare.
Yeah, so maybe that's just a shortcoming in general that people aren't using the voice chat. So when it comes to us maybe realizing like, oh crap, maybe our DPS should switch, the only time I can put that is when I die and then I'm typing as fast as I can, into my keyboard before I can come back to try to get back to help support the team. And sometimes you can't get enough in there, and you're like, do I stand here in the spawn area while I continue to type this in the chat? I mean, generally that's probably the right decision because you need to communicate that to your team, but then it's putting your team behind because I'm sitting in the spawn, and it just becomes this whole chaotic struggle.
I'll do that quite a bit. I use the text chat pretty often, and the biggest thing that I notice as a problem is, luckily I do want to tank, but nobody wants to tank. So I'll usually, whenever I go into matches, I'll hover Thor. I won't auto lock him, but I'll be like, hey, this is what I'm thinking about playing. No one else, clicks tank. It's either 3 DPS and and a strategist or whatever. And so I'll walk in Thor and I'll ask very nicely, hey, I can tank as Thor, but like would be a lot easier if we had another one. Like it's tough to solo tank as Thor. A lot of times, no response. So I'm like, all right, cool. Guess I'm playing Magneto. So that's what happens all the time. But sometimes I'll have someone switch over. And we can make it work, but it's like, so stuff like that. Also just the toxicity of people sometimes is, just in chat. And I'll straight up say, I was trying to be the mediator. There's one game where like we were losing pretty bad. We were playing on Midtown and just the people just going at each other. And I said, if this is how we talk to each other, then we've already lost.
You actually said that.
Yeah. And guess
great.
What? We won from that moment on.
There you go.
Around. Everyone started being nice.
Yeah.
And we won the match. So
there you go.
It's like,
well done, Kent.
Just come on.
I always try to put in like the GR for good round if we have a good round, even if we lose. Sometimes like put that in there and say good round, we'll get them next time. Like we got this, something like that. But I did have a game with a lot of toxicity earlier this week where one guy said like, I think somebody should change to strategist or whatever. And then like one guy was like, don't tell me what to do. I'm not gonna. And then they just started going back and forth, and it's like, really?
There's no point in playing the rest of the game. Everybody should just leave at that point. Like, what are we doing?
As someone who plays on console, well, I guess I do have games where I play with PC players, but pings very important, and it's something easy that you can do while you're playing. I've changed my ping button instead of it being on down or whatever it is on the D-pad to X. I don't know. It's make it an easy to hit button, and to coordinate your alts, you can tell them about your alt charge. There is that setting in that you can do to have more than just your 4 different.
Yeah, you can
ping
expand your
types.
wheel
You can
to
do 8 or whatever.
It's 8, yeah.
Alt charge, group up, stay back. I always just ping enemies when I see them, or if they're low, you double tap it and it will do an either beware of this area, or that just kind of shows like, hey, there's an enemy over here, let's get him. So learning to use your pings is good as a console player when
Yeah.
you can't
Ping,
type
ping,
it.
ping. I actually use I play on PC, but I use the PlayStation Pro controller, whatever it's called.
Right.
And I always have my right bumper on the bottom is my jump, and then my left is my ping. And even when I play
Like your
even
paddles,
on
you're
consoles,
saying,
yeah,
right?
the paddles on the bottom.
Paddles are great.
So
Fancy.
always change that. You always got to have a ping. I mean, even when I play Call of Duty, I always like any game I play, even on console, it's always my ping is that. So you can always
Ping is huge. That's like
Yep.
that's a fairly recent thing. I think the first time I saw that was what was that?
Apex Legends, I think, was the
Apex
first one.
Legends.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we're like, oh, this
was like
is
the-
cool.
big thing they added. So then you saw everybody doing it after that.
Because even if you're on voice chat, you're like, hey, look over here, and you're like, what? Where are you looking? Right? It's like this, ping, 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 ping. Well, pick
And
this
you know,
up.
in a game like this where positional awareness is so
Yeah.
huge, and
Get
knowing
the
enemy
Iron Man
awareness
in
and
the
all that.
sky.
Yep.
Please, somebody. I'm Ben Grimm. I can't reach him.
Yeah. Let's see. Last one. This one comes to us from Jack Benz. And they say, hey, gamers, long-time listener, first-time chatter. Question. With Jeff the Shark being in the game, the devs clearly aren't afraid to add the silly little guys to the roster. What silly little guy would you add to the roster as a playable champion? I would personally love to see either Cosmo the dog or Goose the Flurkin. I'd say add Howard the duck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Howard the
that's
Duck would be
one I
probably
thought
the
of, too.
easiest one.
Yep.
It's always like a weird animal, right?
Give him a
That's-
gun. Yep.
yeah.
Give him a gun. Maybe he can roll up his sleeves and punch somebody every once in a while, but I think he'd be awesome. Throw a cigar at somebody.
I was trying to think
Here's-
of other pets, and the first thing that came to mind was Pizza Dog, like Hawkeye's dog.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Joey in the chat says Lockjaw. He'd be huge.
Yeah, Lockjaw.
Hey,
was a good
Lockjaw would
one.
be pretty
Yeah.
sweet.
Nice. Here's a curveball for you. It's not Blade that we're gonna get as part of next season. It's gonna be our pal Ratatoskar. So someone's gonna be play as this squirrel unicorn thing.
That'd be cool.
Let's
Yeah.
do it.
We got a model for it. Let's just do it.
Yeah, exactly. Model's there.
What about Lockheed? That's Kitty Pryde's little dragon that flies around.
Oh yeah, sweet.
I think that'd be
Yeah.
pretty sweet.
Very cool stuff. What about Doctor Strange's dog?
He's in
Oh,
there
bats.
already, though, right? But yeah. maybe
Yeah,
not.
he's in there running around.
As a playable character, though, right?
Yeah.
Let's see.
What was the? Here we go. We add another game. What was the? This is being stupid, but the PlayStation game Stray, where you're the cat.
It's a cat?
You can
Yeah,
be
yeah.
Doctor Strange's dog, and that's the event.
Could be-
Okay,
Just
yeah.
add that
that'd be
game into
awesome.
it. Throw it in.
That'd be
Oh
an
yes.
event. Yeah.
Matt says over in the chat, Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. That would be.
Ah,
But see, I would see them
nice.
being like
Easy.
that's like a cloak and dagger.
Be pretty drastic change, being a nice little girl and then you're just a dinosaur.
Yeah. She's riding the dinosaur. I
Yeah,
don't know.
Gotta be
It'd just
her
awesome.
riding.
Oh
it
yeah,
inside.
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
That'd be sweet. But all right, well, let's wrap it up there, guys. Again, if you want to reach out to us, you can do that over on Spotify. Leave a comment over there. Or, of course, you can always email us, rivalsassemblepod@gmail.com, or hit us up over on social media, either on X or Blue Sky at Rivals Assemble. Also, like we said, we got our big poll going now for this week. What is the best convergence map? Either the Symbiotic Surface, Clintar, the Shinshibuya, the Tokyo 2099 map, or the Hall of Jalia, the Intergalactic Empire of Wakanda. Go vote over on Spotify and hear the results next week here on the show. Like we said, next week also, we will have another lore dump making its return. Matt will be talking about Logan himself, Wolverine, next week. I do recommend, if you do have Marvel Unlimited, go check out the Marvel Unlimited Infinity comic. What was it called? The Life of Wolverine, I think it is. It's 10
Yeah.
issues. It's great. It's kind of a quick read, but it's awesome. It kind of goes through the whole history of Wolverine from his early days, and you kind of see him as a child to a little bit more, which is kind of awesome.
Seems
Also,
exactly what I'm looking for.
Yep, go check it out. Next week, we will have a guest on the show. Our first guest here on the show, Conrad Gunther from the Marvel Rivals Review podcast, will be joining us. And, of course, he'll be sharing his thoughts on Season 1.5. And we'll be jumping into that next week with him. So lots to talk about, I'm sure, as we kind of really start to see the meta kind of play out, as we kind of get into more live games rather than just this kind of early access that we're in right now. So anything else you guys want to throw out here at the end of the show? Any recommendations for people as they kind of jump in?
Yeah. Enjoy the new stuff.
Yeah, the hype train still rolling. As you said, it's hard to think about any other games right now. I haven't played anything else in 2 months now, so they're doing it. They know exactly what they're doing. They're doing it right.
Well, that's the thing. Like I'm looking at a lot of times for me with these games, it's like I buy the battle pass and I'm like, I can't rest until that battle pass is done. And like with this game, because you have to do those daily missions to complete it, like you have to go in there every day till it's done. But I'm getting there, and of course I could spend the money and finish it, which I'm not going to do. But it's like, what am I going to do in maybe 2.5, 3 weeks when it is complete? Like, I'm probably still just going to keep playing the game because it's like, because then the hype machine starts going for Season 2 is going to be coming on beyond that. So it's like, it just keeps coming, man. They just keep you engaged with it all the time. One thing I didn't mention too is our Discord. So please, if you are interested in finding some like-minded folks, you want to chat with us, go join the Discord. You can find that, of course, in the show notes. And we'd love to have you in there, man. Our small community is starting to grow here. Like we said, we have some pretty awesome Captain America members in there right now. So come in and chat with us. So with that, everybody, enjoy Season 1.5. Send us your feedback, your thoughts on it. I can't wait for everybody to jump in here and get some hands-on with these new heroes and the new map and all the updates and everything in there. So until next time, everybody, have a great week, and we'll catch you then. Later.
Peace.